Hey, hey, honeys and hunks. We got our episode right before Halloween, so boo to you. So officially, yeah, that was dumb. Officially, season is in swing with that first week, and for me personally, I can't be happier with this all. Today we are joined by the one from the north, the usual Jade Auxiliary Johnson. Um,
Hey.
has the season lived up to your expectations so far?
Oops. So far, so good. That was us from last week. I'm just trying to tweet this on my account, and
That
it was
is
pinned
fair.
and
That is
apparently I was
fair.
not on mute. So that was you from our first episode
That
this
was.
year.
Oh, that sounded horrible. That's what it sound like. Ooh, that is what.
uh, Back to your question. Yes, the season has been great so far. I was excited about it because I expected us to go into it and not really know how things were going to go. And as we're going to discuss a little bit later, in a lot of cases, that's exactly what's happening. And it's so exciting.
That's fantastic. And then we are also then joined by the one from the Brooklyn East Coast, the witty Shay. Let me see. I can never see your.
Vassar.
Yeah, Vassar.
It's a
Okay.
college here, so you have to say
I
it
wanted to
right.
make sure it wasn't your NBA one because I also had one tab open. Yeah, we're doing real great with this. I'm trying to share this live too. But all right. Anywho, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about new fan warning cards that they're getting with it all. And then we, even though we hate talking about the Lakers, I think we have established that from moment one. We're going to be talking about Lakers and Russell Westbrook, sadly. And then we are going to give our first week takes of it all, the winners and losers, a little bit of it. But today we also got some new segments. We're going to see how we like it. And yeah, we're going to have some fun stuff today. So, first thing we're going to start with, we're going to talk about the fan card. So, for anyone that doesn't know, the league is going to be holding the fans accountable for their actions this year. So, if the refs or security catches the person doing any rude comments or anything detrimental to the players, they will get a warning card and saying and it says you are being issued a warning that the comment, gestures, and or behaviors that you have directed at the players, coaches, game officials, or other spectators can constitute excessive verbal abuse or behavior that is disruptive or interferes with a game participant or another spectator in violation of the NBA fan code of conduct. This will be the first and only warning that you will receive. If after receiving this warning you verbally abuse any player, coach, game official, or spectator, or engage in any behavior that is disruptive or interferes with the game participant or another spectator, you will be immediately ejected from the arena with no refund. So, Jade, do you like the? I will just start off with this. Do you like the idea of this warning card system?
um, I'm going to say this in an unexpected way. I hate the idea, not because it's a bad idea, but because how did we get to a place as a society where this was a necessary thing to attend a sporting event? Like, I don't understand the way people behave. And especially in recent years, it's gotten more and more combative, chippy, to use a basketball term, between some fans and players. And I just I don't understand. Um, so from that standpoint, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit that the NBA has deemed that this is a necessary step that they have to take. I'm glad they took it. People always should be responsible for the way they behave. Players, fans, anywhere you are, whatever you're doing. And when an individual is not able to behave themselves on their own, some authority has to come and step in. And the players don't deserve to be abused while they're doing their jobs. None of us like to be abused while we're doing our jobs. So I think this is a good move by the NBA. I think it's enough, but not too much. You're getting a clear warning, cut it out or you're gone. This is your only warning. Yeah, I like it.
Shay, where are your first thoughts with this all?
I think it's sad, but also it's got me thinking, and I guess I could have researched this, but I didn't. Are we the only sport that does this? Because
because we're the only sport where the fans are right on the floor.
Which is true, but it's like we're definitely not the only sport where people get rowdy. Because even if they're not directly on the court or they're being rowdy with the players, I've been to like baseball games where people get rowdy with each other, even if it's just yelling. Like I have seen it's gotten physical before, as like some people are infamous for, fans are infamous for physical stuff at certain ballparks and football games. But when it's just shouting, I don't think it's necessarily that a fan should get kicked out. If like I did see a guy who was courtside who got one of these new fan cards for saying like the F word. Okay, sure. Like, I don't know if he was saying it at a player. There was no context really given in his tweet. He was just like, what is this? But that happens at all sporting events. So it's just like, I get that like the NBA has a special background with like Malice at the Palace and, having that direct connection to players. But sports fans, like in general, just are pretty rowdy. Like, so I'm curious on that. I'm also curious on how they plan on enforcing it, because if you give someone a card, is it only for that game that they have that warning? So if they come back, it's just like they just start over again. I don't know. Like maybe I'm thinking about it too hard.
My understanding has been it's for that game.
Okay.
Right? And it's a warning. Like, behave. This is your chance to not get thrown out of this game. Chill out. It's going to be a hard thing to enforce, like you said. The one thing I don't like about it is that the responsibility is with the refs, who already can't keep track of what's going on in the game. This is one of my, there's a few areas of the NBA that I would really like to see overhauled, and I've been talking about it since we started this, and the officiating is one of them. The officiating runs almost exactly the same way as it does when I was a child. The game is not the same as it was when I was a child. It's faster. There are, things like James Harden's, the way he takes a jump shot. You have to pay more attention to that to make sure he doesn't travel. Other players do it too. There's a lot more going on, and there are not enough eyes on the floor for it already. So to put this responsibility also on refs seems dubious to me. My guess is that the NBA hopes that these cards being available will remind people to keep themselves in check, and it won't be an all the time thing that the refs are doing.
So how much, since it's real new, haven't really had to deal with it too much, but as it continues on, do you think it could get any kind of a pushback from the fans, Shay, or is it not going to really affect the experience?
I don't think it's going to affect the experience, because already because of the way that the NBA is filmed, we would know if crowds were getting rowdy in recent years, and we know when they have. Yeah. So I have a feeling it's only going to be those who kind of push buttons that are going to complain about it. But like, I also think that it's smart to have some kind of thing in place. I just don't know if this is it.
Jade, could you see, since you were saying that the refs were having to paying attention to so many different things, do you think also players or coaches could maybe help and get involved with that and talk with security, or is there not a set idea to work?
I don't think that the players and coaches should be responsible for that while they're playing and coaching. I mean, they're already there doing their jobs. I don't think it should be their responsibility. In a perfect world, it's everybody's individual responsibility to behave properly. We don't live in a perfect world. That's why things like this are necessary. I think if this becomes a thing that's happening a lot, it's going to need tweaking. If the idea is it's in place if we need it, they only expect to use it from time to time, I think what they have is going to serve the purpose as it's meant to.
Okay. I'm just curious once it goes on, because I'm not saying I would be a rowdy person, but of course there's always a drunk person.
Sure, Taylor. Sure.
know.
Oh man, I get so buck wild at a Timberwolves game. Like I tell you, with the 4 empty spaces on the left and right of me, like when we're packing that stadium, I feel real bad. Right now we're at $5 upper bowl tickets, $25
my
lower
God.
Man,
tickets
I would kill for that.
first against San Antonio, and I'm like, ooh, this is
I want to go. Like, I do want to go see the
Yeah.
Timberwolves at some point.
But,
I want to go to the Twin Cities. Like, that is on my bucket list.
like it's a very torn fan base right now, and yeah, so it's a real mixed hype of people coming into it. We booed the team last night. That was
Oh.
Yeah, that was rough. But anywho, right now we're gonna go on to a newer segment that Jade we're gonna feature with her fantasy teams that she has. How many teams are you having?
So I'm calling it 2.5 because I was just trying to get ready to draft a team. So Sarah and I do a league together every year. And we were just trying to get ready to draft a team later in the evening. And all of a sudden I was in a draft that I couldn't get out of, that I didn't want to be in. So I let that team auto draft. And so I'm calling that my half team. I have 2 teams that I wanted to be in that I actually drafted. So 2.5 fantasy teams this year.
2.5, that's fair. I mean, I could even take care of one.
Yeah, so with that, I'm very happy to announce I won my weeks, both first and second weeks. So I'm off to a solid start. My fantasy player of the week this week is Lauri Markkanen. If you are playing fantasy, he's only rostered 91% of the time. So 10% of your leagues out there, Lauri Markkanen is not rostered. What are you guys doing?
You
He
boxed out.
is like, let's go. He's already, I get that it's a small sample size. I get it. But he's been one of my favorite players. I targeted him on my teams. I only got him on one of the teams. Already this season, he's gone from a career average of 15.5 points, 21.5. He is shooting, he's added 2 rebounds a game. He's added 2 assists a game. His 3-point shooting is a little shaky at 24.1%, but his average is 36.2. So if he can get that under control with the points, the added minutes he's getting in Utah, I think he's going to be a great fantasy player. So if you are in one of those 9% of leagues where Markkanen is not rostered, you heard it here first. Pick him up. You will not regret it.
Spoiler alert on some things I was going to have later in today's episode. At least I don't have to repeat it.
There you go. All right. So what we're also going to do in this segment is whoever is on us and whatever honeys we add in the future are going to talk about our team's upcoming schedule for the week. So I'll start with Taylor this week. The Timberwolves have started out 2-2, which, it's early days. It's not too shabby. We're working on getting momentum. But this week, the Wolves have the Spurs on Wednesday at home, the Lakers on Friday at home, and then the Spurs on the road on Saturday or Sunday. So, Taylor, 3 games today. What games are we winning? What games are we losing?
Like, we have our starters at least are having some seriously chemistry issues right now. Mm-hmm. Everyone's trying to figure out how to balance this stuff. I think for those 3 games, 2-1, because we lost to the Spurs last night, so I think we're going to be able to beat the Spurs. We're going to be like, okay, we were down by 30 at one point. Wow. We did lose by 10, but
still,
that's not a good Spurs team. It's got some great pieces coming in. Keldon Johnson, he's a boss. I like his game.
Fox is out there too, right? In San Antonio? No?
Nope. He's still in NBA Purgatory, Sacramento.
Right. There's somebody else on the Spurs that has had a good start to the season. I can't. remember who it was.
I don't want to say no-name players because they have been putting on a showing, but they're all so young that I can't keep up. The only reason why I know about Keldon Johnson's name so much is because he was part of Team USA the last Olympics. Greg Popovich, who's coach, he was like, I want him on it. I was like, why him? At least like the last time when we had a young guy like that, it was Anthony Davis. So we were like, well, okay, well, at least it's him. Keldon Johnson, I was like, not on my radar with it, but like I'm not going to complain about it. But he did kind of take us over. And who were the two other teams?
Lakers on Friday.
Got that W.
And Spurs again. Spurs again on Sunday.
So I think we're going to go 2-1. I think we will lose to the Spurs again, though, because they play fast. So heads up over your guys' team.
All right, so I've got that down. So what we're going to be doing with this segment is keeping track all season long.
Oh, so nervous.
What do we get right? What do we get wrong? Who knows their team's best? We'll have a little bit of bragging rights, a little bit of a competition within the show for your benefit. It should be a lot of fun. Shay, your turn. Shay, as most of you know, is first an OKC fan at heart, but living in Brooklyn, she is going to be following the Nets this season. The Nets have started 1-2. Always so much drama around the Nets.
Always.
And it hasn't gotten less. Ben Simmons is still Ben Simmonsing it up. You know, you got Kyrie, you got KD there. They seem to be doing all right, but overall, it's still the Nets, and I'm still skeptical. So, Shay, you have this week on Wednesday the Bucks, on Thursday the Mavs, and on Saturday the Pacers. The Bucks are on the road. Mavs and Pacers are at home. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say 2 losses and a win.
So lose to the Bucks, lose to the Mavs, beat the Pacers.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just think I mean, Katie and Kyrie came out, played really well for some of their season opener, or especially that season opener. You know, that was a tough Memphis game, but I think there's gonna ultimately be a chemistry breakdown that we definitely will not. There's no way they're going to beat the Bucks. The Bucks is like beautiful right now. Yeah. And then the Mavs, I just want them to do well because I think this could be Luka's year. So I think there's part of me that is like, is that going to be the first time we see this kind of chemistry breakdown? So I think we can win against the Pacers. But again, if we have 3 losses this week, I'm also not going to be surprised.
Fair enough. I like it. All right. Last, we will run down my Toronto Raptors. We started 2-2, which I will take. Thank you very much. I'm super excited for these back-to-back games, all the extra back-to-back games this year. I think for the Raptors specifically, those are going to be really hard games to beat because Nick Nurse is so good at making adjustments. So this week we've got Philly on Wednesday at home, Philly on Friday at home, and Atlanta on Monday at home. I'm also going to go 1 loss and 2 wins. I think we're going to lose the first game to Philly. Philly has not started well. At some point, Philly's got to get their crap together, and it just feels like the Raptors are the team that is going to get them together enough to pull out a W. Because it's the Raptors and there's a mentality sometimes that they're the team that's going to be easy to beat. I think Philly's going to get it together, get a win at the Raptors on Wednesday. I think that second game on Friday against Philly, we're going to take. Hopefully Scotty Barnes is back in the lineup. He's out with an injury, ankle injury right now, listed as day-to-day. And then Atlanta. I just think Atlanta is a team that doesn't have the same consistency. They're still finding their way. They have a great season. They have a not so good season. They're just not quite a complete team yet. So I think we beat Atlanta.
I'm going to try to watch that game if I can.
I got to still get that NBA League Pass because it's only $100, so I should probably get on that one.
It's worth it for every game in the league.
That's what I'm trying to tell myself, Taylor. Like,
I mean, if you can hold out though till like January, February, it usually goes on a huge discount.
that is very true. I mean, sometimes they do like a Christmas
True.
deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe a Black Friday deal. Who knows? Maybe they won't since they lowered the price with it all. So fun time there with thanks Jade. Hopefully we like that take. I can finally talk about my Timberwolves a little bit more, which is always fun. But
Also because they're relevant right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I know.
nervous with this.
I know.
I don't every single time that we're relevant, it's not always good, but it's not bad. But like when we went to the playoffs a couple years ago, like we got it, but it was not pretty. We got to the playoffs yet last year. We got there, maybe not the best, but we got there. Like,
I mean, that's how I feel as a Mets fan. Is every
that
time we
you're a
go
Mets
somewhere, we blow it. So I know this is a basketball podcast, but I feel that especially after this season. I had hope. They ruined it. Anyway, back to basketball.
Back to basketball.
it's sports still.
Yeah.
So I love this first week because it's literally a gift from the NBA to me, since this is end of October is my birthday. That's when the season starts.
Nice.
I can get a little bit more fun with watching it since I know it's a little extra. So some early teams that are getting some solid wins. We got Utah, who has who's got a win against us. Ugh, that was a tough one. I hate Kelly Olynyk, by the way. I hate him.
Really?
So, oh my God.
Are you mad against Kelly?
Oh my God. At least after that game, I was just like, man, you flop way worse than Cat. You complain more than Cat. I was like, shut up. But but Jade, we also got Portland with 4 straight wins, and then San Antonio's got is 3-1. With these teams, and you've also mentioned Lauri Markkanen killing it for Utah. Are any of these teams real, or is this just like just a quick little honeymoon phase?
There's no way the Grizzlies are real. I will say that. The Grizzlies have the history. The Grizzlies have been on an upward trajectory this is a 3rd straight season that they've just gotten better. Desmond Bane is killing it. John Morant is picked up right from where he left off last season. The other teams, I never trust the Trailblazers. Like, there's just been too many years of all this talk about the Trailblazers, and they're in the playoffs, they're going on, and like, no, it just never happens. It never happens. So like, good for them for starting 4-0. For me, it's really early to jump on a Trailblazers bandwagon, especially when you got teams like the Warriors. The Warriors are not going to be like, the Warriors are going to come together. The Warriors don't care about their standing in the regular season. They're playing for the playoffs. So them being 6th, whatever. The Suns, the Clippers, Pelicans. Like, I think. Sorry.
I can tell you the first 10. So Blazers, Spurs, Grizzlies at 3rd.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
You are? You got Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Pelicans, Mavs, Timberwolves, Nuggets. Yeah, those bottom 8 teams that I just mentioned aren't going to be there.
No, like from 1 to 11 is going to change completely by the time we get to playoff season. The bottom of the Western Conference, Rockets, Kings, Lakers, Thunder. I think they're going to be bad all year. I think what we've seen for them to start is what we can expect to see unless some big moves are made, especially with the Rockets, Kings, and Thunder, because they are actively rebuilding teams.
Yeah.
The Lakers are just a disaster. I tweeted this week that like the Lakers are such a joke, and can we just ignore them until after the punchline? Because Nothing that they're doing is making sense. None of the moves they're talking about making is gonna, I don't believe, is going to materially improve their roster. So yeah, I think 1 through 11 is up for debate and will be for quite some time. I think it's going to come down to the last games of the season for seeding this year.
I hope so, because that means then teams will actually be fighting for it at the end, being more concerned with actually for once where they're going to be placed, because at least Western Conference, killer stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Killer stacked there. So, Shay, being on the East Coast, being in the same division, your Nets might be being rough, but 76ers, even rougher. They did win last night, but they started off 0-3, real rough. Are you surprised by this? Because this is the same roster from last year, so there should be no real chemistry issues.
I'm not completely surprised, only because of James Harden and Embiid's inconsistency just over the years. And you know, Embiid, especially though the last like 2 seasons, we've had to come and give him the credit he deserves because, you know, he was in the MVP talks. Like, you know, we had to give it up for Embiid. I think the issue is that when you have your second in command, someone like James Harden, who is consistently not a hard worker, consistently not putting in the effort, and you have Embiid, who also seems to be just a natural talent that does not really always want to play hard, there's going to be a certain amount of lackadaisical just camaraderie going on. So it makes me wish I could be a fly on the wall in those practices, because I think both of them got a little bit of a head. They got, you know, their helium and their balloons. I don't know where I'm pulling these like out of today. Helium in their balloons.
Witty at the beginning of it. Whoops.
Anyway, on that note, yeah, so I'm not really surprised. I'm not really expecting them to be someone we talk about all year, only because and maybe that's just because I just want James Harden to not succeed, and that makes me feel really bad that I say that about a human being, but Jade's chuckle.
Because it is a Philly team, I want to know with your takes, Jade, since I know your appreciation of the 76ers. Are you surprised by this, or nah, you're just like, this is the Doc team. It's going to happen anyways?
This is how I feel about Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a garbage organization. And because they have stars, nobody wants to pay attention because they're such an old NBA team, because they're the Sixers, you know? But like, really, look at how they handled Ben Simmons. Like, do you really need more information than that to know that this is not an organization that is solid? This is not an organization where players are going to feel like their organization has their back. Those organizations don't have success. Not the kind of success that Philly needs to have. Like, Philly needs to be in the finals. This has been the conversation for how many years now? Success
Right.
for Philly is the finals, and they haven't got close. So yeah, they've got it on paper. They seem to have it on paper, but there's a problem in that organization. And you know, the old phrase, crap trickles down from the top.
I mean, we all know how our love for them, so I'm sure we all have a real good take on the failings of them. Okay, so we got that. We got our first week takes wrapped up, and now we're going to swing it over to Shay. We have a new Twitter segment that we are going to, she's going to describe more about.
All right, let me get my things ready. I'm just being a weirdo today. Sharing screen. So we are going to look today. I only found 3 tweets because, no offense to the beginning of the NBA season, you guys are not tweeting about it quite as much unless you were the Lakers complaining about Westbrook. So, this is our first one that we're going to look at. Oh, adding to stream.
Yep, you had it.
Oh,
there you go.
So Isaiah Thomas. Let it be known I am personally rooting for Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook. Stay strong and positive, fellas.
How long ago was that tweet?
It was actually from like a couple of days ago. I should have put the dates in here.
Like if this were like from 5 years ago, because like both of them got knocked out of the playoffs or something. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, I already don't like Isaiah Thomas really to begin with. So
that's my problem too. He has proven himself to be such a not great human being. I always have a hard time when like he's on NBA TV sometimes too, and I'm watching and I'm just like, man, I'd really rather not watch Isaiah Thomas. It's a shame because you forget how freaking good he was at basketball because he's been such a crappy person. I get this for Russ. I feel terrible for Russell Westbrook because Russell Westbrook is not the Lakers' problem. The Lakers had problems before they added Russell Westbrook. And
hey, you spoiled the for stuff.
What's that?
I know. I'm like,
you know, we have one more thing we're talking about.
Sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm crossing over. I will pull it back. I will pull it back. I feel sorry for Russell Westbrook. I don't get Kyrie Irving in this tweet. Like, what is Kyrie Irving's fine.
Yeah.
Well, you got me nervous a little bit because I was like, did he tweet this in like March of last year? No, he tweeted it 6 days ago. So I did just fact check 6 days ago.
Okay. Well, then, like I said, he's crazy with his fake chiclet teeth. Like, his teeth aren't real. They bug me. But that's a whole other side thing.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Well, I brought up my next one.
Thank you.
It says from Krajic at Kevin DeGoat, do a push-up every time Lakers miss a shot. And then a picture of this bodybuilder.
I thought that was like an NBA player's head placed on top of a bodybuilder body. Like, do that. Is that Zach Collins from the Spurs? Like, because he played last night. He wasn't that tan.
This scared me because I didn't understand why this bodybuilder was under the hashtag NBA Twitter. But also, I know we're going to get into it. I just wanted to make it a physical. We needed an image to put with the Lakers missing shots and how if you did a push-up every time, what you would look like. All right.
I like that one a lot. I liked it a lot.
And then time for discussion. At Trey's Muse, so obviously biased, but Trae Young is better than Kyrie Irving.
I will agree with that based on the personal level stuff. Trae Young does not bring drama to his team constantly. Kyrie Irving has brought drama to his team every single place he's ever played, except for with LeBron, and that's because you don't bring drama when you're playing with LeBron. So to me, that's just as important as the stats. Like, even you can't say that it's not distracting. Even if a team overcomes it and does well, it's a thing that they have to overcome on their own roster that they shouldn't. So it's not based on numbers. I imagine that the stats are comparable, I would think. But in terms of being better for your team, yeah, I take Trae Young all day, every day.
Like, you
got Taylor on this one. It's a little payback from some of those fast break questions over the years.
Finally.
Well, it's because like Kyrie bugs the living daylights out of me, but I still don't think Trae Young can straight up hoop. I'll give him that. But Kyrie. I gotta go Kyrie.
Ooh, that hurts you. I can hear how much that hurts.
Wait. Because I'm just thinking, like, style-wise, like,
Well done,
I'm
Shay.
gonna
Well
say
done.
Trae Young is having a better is better because everything he does is helping the team. Everything that Kyrie's doing may be putting up stuff, but it's not really helping the team. Yes. Yeah.
It's
You feel
hard.
good about that? Are you satisfied?
Sure.
That's convincing.
Well,
Yes.
obviously, I'm gonna keep looking for good ones. This week on Twitter, I felt like a lot of what I found was just Lakers complaining about the team. Which again, it's like we get it. You love your team when they're doing really well and you think they're the best, and then when they're not doing well, you're gonna just blame everyone and their mom, and not admit that like your team is not fun to watch sometimes. Like that happens. That happens in any kind of franchise, but like Twitter was just kind of a cesspool for like Lakers fans complaining about every aspect of the franchise, and it was really annoying. Like it's I don't want to see this in every way. Like we all three have followed franchises at different times that like even now like I'm following OKC, you know, like I mean I know I'm not talking about them as much because like I am in the thick of Brooklyn, but I'm still following them. I'm still like not going to tweet about how horrible they are all the time. And so it's a really weird thing to see because I know there's other like fan bases that do that as well, but it's just like I don't get it. I don't get why you would just always want to tweet about why the team that you're a fan of is really bad. I don't know. Anyway, so that was kind of a negative note to stop this segment on, but I'm gonna be looking for more memes and stuff, and if anyone ever wants to tag us in them or anything like that, I might share them if they're good.
Well, it's bringing us back to the past time when we had the Twitter on Thursdays. So it's just going old school. We're going back to the roots.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so got through Twitter time, and now we're gonna wrap it up with Lakers and Russell Westbrook. So, as I say, chemistry class has failed. They have failed it horribly. There we go. So I'm gonna just a quick breakdown. Lakers obviously off to a rough start, as we've seen. It's only make it rougher when everything is falling underneath. LeBron, he looks uninterested. AD is not making it his team that everyone has been telling him to do. And Russ is taking the heat. So with his shooting, is he almost trying to shoot his way out? So I'm going to start with you, Shay, first. Is Russ doing too much on the court for the Lakers still? Is he still trying to do too much?
Completely. He's trying to do too much, and he's trying to do the things that he's not naturally good at. And you shouldn't have to do that when you have other superstars on the team. And then because he's putting so much effort out there and failing at it, it's making him look really awful, and it's making him a super easy scapegoat. I mean, he's always been a scapegoat. He's always especially been a media scapegoat. But this is what is allowing him just to be even more, is he cares so much about the game, and he is going to give it his all. And that's like not fair to him, because you have other players that can obviously be stepping into those spots who are better at certain aspects of the game that he's not. Like that's that.
And so, Jade, I'm sure you're going to like to rip at this because I'm going to swing this more to also the Lakers, because they're not the organization itself. There are plenty to blame with them too. Are the Lakers becoming the Knicks of the West Coast?
I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for that analogy. They're the biggest market on the coast. The Knicks, I mean, are the biggest market on the East Coast. The Lakers, arguably, hard to say because there are a lot of big market teams on the West Coast. You got the Clippers, you got the Golden
Lakers got the
States, you
history.
know. But the Lakers, right? Showtime. It's the Lakers. The Lakers are supposed to be Lakers. And I think that's the thing that's shooting them in the foot the most. They're paying as an organization. They're thinking about what the Lakers used to be instead of rebuilding the team. The Lakers need a full from the ground rebuild. Like adding random pieces to try and shore up AD's injury problems and aging LeBron James is not the play. Like, you guys need to be bad. You need to draft some people. What you're doing isn't working. The roster hasn't made sense in 3 seasons now. Was it 2 seasons ago? They had the oldest team in the league, Dwight Howard, Melo, all those guys. Like, how do you think that is a team that's going to win an 82-game season, play an 82-game season, and then win in the playoffs too?
That would have been just ultimate super team if it were 2011.
Exactly. It's 2022, almost 2023 Lakers. Like, have you not been changing your calendars? Like, what? I don't understand what is happening over there. They added Schroeder back, after that whole mess. Like, nothing about the Lakers since LeBron James has joined has looked like a team that is in play to be relevant every season. They got that one win in the bubble, or that it was the season after the bubble. Was it? Whatever the championship was they won, that was just like, yeah, sure. The year after the bubble. But then what have they been doing since then, except for putting together rosters that even as amateurs don't make sense?
I keep on saying they keep on having a bunch of like players that used to be really good 5 years ago.
Which is really funny that you mentioned the Knicks, because the Knicks did that for a long time. They would bring back players that they had passed on 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that they weren't the same players anymore. So there's another parallel to your question. Are they like the Knicks? Yeah, they are.
Well, because all these players that are now really old have only known LeBron brings you to the championship. Yes. So that's what they're going to. They're going to go to who they know always makes it to the finals. Well, LeBron can. You can't. And that's what's going to hold LeBron from going to it. And every single player on that team, I swear, is in that era of like, we can go. And then you're like, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Like, what are they smoking in LA? Because I want some.
Share it.
The finest of herbs. Finest of herbs.
That OG Kush.
The contours. Blueberry yum yum. Oopsies, I didn't say that one. How will this toxic relationship end? Will Russ be traded? Will Russ be cut? Will the Lakers completely ghost Russ? How is this going to go?
I don't know. Like, I could see Russ possibly getting out. I mean, I guess part of me kind of hopes that he goes back to OKC, but that's just I gotta be truthful. I gotta be truthful on that one. But I don't know. I don't know if that would actually be a good move, because it just feels like there's something more fundamentally there than just Russell Westbrook. And it just kind of seems like all of them have tuned out. I mean, even on like TNT, they've talked about how Russ isn't even really doing that whole like run and like to the corner and yell thing. And that usually like is his whole thing. It doesn't matter how bad the team he's on is doing. It doesn't matter, whatever kind of situation he's in, he does that because it gets his head in the game. And the fact that he's not showing the same kind of passion, you're not seeing that in LeBron. Like, I feel like there's a fundamental issue that like trading Russell Westbrook is not going to get rid of.
No.
So I think they might do it. I don't know.
I saw as recently as yesterday that I think I saw it from Bleacher Report that they've reopened trade talks with Utah for Russell Westbrook.
And I saw that a little bit. I don't know for sure the validity of it. But they said Mike Conley might be involved.
I saw that too, yeah.
I hope not, because if there's one player that could, like point guard, that is obtainable for them, that could really help them out, it's Mike Conley, because he's the definition of professionalism in the league. I wouldn't want that. But knowing Danny Ainge, he's going to pull up some sly thing where he's going to also end up getting like the Lakers unprotected first overall pick they're going to get, and they're going to get Victor, and then Danny Ainge will be praised again. I just want to push the man down.
I mean, the Lakers are not in the strongest footing for a trade. If they do move Westbrook, they're not going to get the better end of that trade. Like, I just don't see that happening.
This trade no matter what.
Yeah, and for Russ, like, dear God, please let him play somewhere where he's happy. Like,
right.
Russell Westbrook was one of those people. He's always posting videos, dancing in his car and singing, and he's obviously so unhappy. He's so and he's never gonna get better while he's that unhappy around basketball. Things do not work that way.
Charles Barkley was right when he said the guy just doesn't look happy.
No,
he doesn't look happy anymore.
And can you blame him? Can you imagine going to a team where you've got superstars, LeBron James, AD, and the majority of the world decides you are the problem? When, for those of us who have been paying attention, we knew that the Lakers had been in trouble long before Westbrook got there. And Westbrook, just because he's been individually struggling for a couple of seasons now, is easy to point the finger at. But like, it's a team sport. It's a team sport. They win and they lose as a team. And like, Lakers fail chemistry class. It's as succinct and perfect as you could put it, because that's what it is. It's a chemistry problem.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I question how much time the teams are spending together, because something that you see in teams that are either improving or really good, they do team functions that are not required. They get together for dinners. They do charity functions as a team that are extracurricular to their basketball responsibilities. That's how you gel together, and I would like, for their chemistry to be this bad, there's no way the Lakers can be doing things like that. Maybe they think they're just too good and they're above that kind of team building, whatever. But like, dude, you guys suck. You have to do something.
You have to do something
different than what you're doing. Just bringing in players in and out. Your own three. Like, come on.
And just think, just so they could get that one debatable title, as you could have, for AD, they have lost Brandon Ingram, who's shining. Lonzo Ball, I pray that guy, I hope that guy gets healthy, but he was shining too.
Kyle Kuzma's had a great start to the season.
I was just about to say Kyle Kuzma's really come into his own with things. Even Josh Hart. I was seeing some stuff on StatMuse. Shout out to StatMuse. Follow them on Twitter, because they got some great stuff. And that's where you can maybe find the answers to a couple of my fast break questions. StatMuse. But they were saying how Josh Hart, when it comes to role players right now, he's one of the best coming off the bench right now. So they lost all that. And then I think somehow that number 1 overall pick got tied in with that Anthony Davis trade that made them to draft Zion. So I might be a little bit hazy on that part, but just think of all those players they gave up to one asterisk championship to joke of the league. You're more of a joke than the Knicks are right now. And that says something.
I think that's kind of the biggest misstep of the Lakers over the last few seasons. The talent that they've had come through, the talent that wanted to stay there,
right?
That would have played for the Lakers. But then on the other side of that coin is, would they have developed the way they did if they had been on the Lakers? Because if we think it's an organization problem, that's a factor too. So it's a bit of a toss-up, but I think it's safe to say if they had hung on to a couple of those big names, an Ingram, for instance, your Lonzo Ball, your Kuzmas, those are the kind of players they need to support an injury-prone Anthony Davis and an aging LeBron James. Guys that have been around for a few years, you know what you're going to get for them. They are improving. And the Lakers just seem to be like shopping the NBA bargain bin to see who can we get. Is there any? We'll do anything. What can we do? Anything. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not.
I'm sure they're really bummed out that they lost out on Lonzo. That's the one they need a point guard right now. They don't really have it, and he got like a perfect point guard that they need. Hit a three, play defense, and play smart.
Yep.
And that's
facilitate.
That is what he does best, just like his entire family. I lied, just LaMelo. Anywho. All right, well, we got some fun stuff today. We got the new segments going through Twitter time, and then we got the fantasy second. We'll figure out some new names with things, but it's something new. We're gonna have some fun with it. But also, we're able to hit up on the new warning cards, how they're going to be taken throughout the rest of the year. And then we talking about our just first takes, because it's always fun time to figure out how we see after the first week of the season starts. And then once again, the Lakers being fakers. Yeah, I like that. I was really proud of that one when I typed that one up. Lakers being fakers. I'm a real creative person like that. But now it is for my time of the show. It is the fast break. And for those who do not know what the fast break is, I have 3 questions that Shay and Jade have zero knowledge of, and that I ask to see if they can answer it truthfully. Anywho, okay, so we're going to start off with Russ with this one. So Russ went 0 for 11 the other night when playing. When was the last time he went 0 for, or that he didn't make a basket? What year? Shay?
Ooh.
Wait,
last time he had a game where he didn't make a field goal.
Where he didn't make a shot.
I want to say just last year.
Jade?
I'm going to go with that because I have no idea, and Shay's our resident Russell Westbrook expert.
2016.
Oh.
2016.
He was on OKC then. Come on, girl.
Okay, well, a couple of things have gone on since 2016. I don't know if you heard about coronavirus.
Huh? All right, so the next one. This one's going to be a start bench cut, and it's going to be multiple forms of Kevin Durant.
God.
Start bench cut, OKC Kevin Durant, Golden State Kevin Durant, or Brooklyn Kevin Durant. This is a guy that can fit into any basketball system. Shay?
Gosh, that's so hard.
It's so much harder than it sounds like. Okay, I'm going to start Golden State Durant. I'm going to bench Brooklyn Durant. And I'm going to cut OKC Durant just because that's when he was at his youngest, back when he was still getting in Twitter.
Then.
Huh?
You got the MVP then.
1 year?
I
don't know. If I was coaching, I would rather coach grown up Kevin Durant than man-child Kevin Durant.
That is your see your squadron right there. Shay, how about you? You got that also, that once again, that OKC tie.
Uh-oh, I think she froze up on us.
Can you hear me? My computer's being fine.
Now we can hear you, kind of.
We can hear you. You're just frozen now.
We might have to come back to that one for her.
Yeah.
The perils of live streaming, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so then I'll just go to the next one. Who has more wins? Or so we're gonna go to LA now. We're gonna go to the other. We're gonna go with it. Who has a better record over the past decade? Clippers or Lakers?
That's a harder question than it sounds like. The Clippers are the last 10 years, so including last season.
Last season, going all the way to 2010, the 11th season.
2010, the Lakers. I'm gonna go with the Clippers.
Do we wait for Shay?
I don't know. It's hard to say when she's gonna be. Let me see if she texted us on WhatsApp. Yeah, she says she's coming back. Her computer just
Okay,
froze.
so I'll hold up on the answer with that one. No, that one. It took me forever to like. I had some other questions. I was just like, okay, which LeBron had the most wins? Miami LeBron.
Which LeBron? Oh, that's a good one too.
Well, no, and I thought it was too, but it wasn't giving me an answer.
Oh,
And I was
really?
so frustrated. Google, step up your game.
Basketballreference.com, man.
No, but see, then I just want the answer. I didn't want to have to do math. No.
They have all the stats.
They don't have this because it goes cumulatively with Cavs. It doesn't do the first stint and second stint.
Oh, I see.
That is a very key because first stint Cavs he was with for 7 years.
Yeah, I see
He
that.
was still building up to who he was. And the second stint Cavs, well, LeBron he had Kevin Love and Kyrie with him the entire time. Because that first stint Cavs squad that he had, that was, I will admit, what he did for that team, getting them to the finals. Whoa, that might be his biggest achievement.
I think the finals he won with the Cavs is because that team was rough when he went back after Miami.
Yeah,
like getting that team to a championship, to me is his greatest single season accomplishment.
Yeah, just that first I just remember that Cavs squad that he took to 07 that had their starting point guard, Boobie Gibson. That's, I mean, they did have the big guys, Brunas Ilgauskas. Gotta love Big Z.
Ooh, Ilgauskas. I haven't thought about him in a long time.
Yeah, I love that guy so much. He's one of those guys where, okay, he's not going to be like necessarily a Hall of Famer, but his jersey is still hung up in Cleveland because they're like, yep. Okay,
yeah,
so
I can see that.
We got Shay's.
Okay, so we got Shay's answer by WhatsApp message, everybody. So Shay says she would start Brooklyn Durant, bench OKC, and cut Golden State.
I think there might be some bad blood on that last one. I think there might be bad blood.
She's just restarting her browser.
And
hopefully she'll be back momentarily.
One reason why I went Kevin Durant is because, like I said, he is one of the few players in the league where you can pick him up and put him on any team and he would work. He can literally every team. He can do that too. I don't know. Could you do that with LeBron?
No. I think you could. I think part of it with LeBron, though, with KD, it's just he has such a flexible skill set. With LeBron, he's LeBron. You know he's got the credentials, he's got the pedigree. You put LeBron on a team, LeBron's in charge. And I think that's kind of the difference. With KD, he just has such an amazing ability to play basketball, and that's what makes him so flexible to different things about them. But I think you could drop them both anywhere and be all right.
But I always say Kevin Durant's not a leader. He's just a hooper. He just wants to play basketball. He doesn't want to do anything else. He just wants to play ball. And to that extent, I kind of get it. But
I mean, and those expectations are things that other people put on players, right? Oh, he's so good. He's amazing. He has to be the leader. Well, maybe he's not that dude. And I think we've seen over the years that KD just isn't really that dude, and that's fine.
He has made it painstakingly clear that he's not that dude.
Yeah, and he has no interest in being that dude.
You're 14, 15. They're still expecting him. No, this is who he is.
Let it go. Take the stats. That's what you get.
Let's enjoy the way that he plays now, because I feel like he's like this generation's Larry Bird. Because I feel like you could put Larry Bird in any kind of system and he'd succeed. I mean, I'm putting it in that terms where you just pick him up, place him down. Okay, for the third fast break, I already asked this to you, Jade. So Shay, who has more wins in the past decade? Clippers or the Lakers?
Clippers.
Y'all both correct.
Yeah.
20 years, but I couldn't, because then I was like, because then that would throw in like Shaq and Kobe and Pau. But
Right.
the past decade, it's been Team Clippers, because even though they didn't do much in the playoffs, it was just regular season. And they've pretty much killed it for the most part over the past decade. So,
Okay.
Which just goes to show what us serious NBA fans already know, is that the regular season doesn't matter.
not too much, no.
It's just fun.
The regular season's for us fans. The playoffs are for the players. That's how they make their money. That's when they get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I got one more fast break question.
Ooh, surprise fast break.
I found this one. This was a StatMuse one too. Who makes more a game, Kawhi or Paul George?
I think it's Paul George.
I think it's Paul George right now. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Can you tell me by how much? This is a bonus. This is a star. You get an A+ if
I
you get.
have no idea by how much.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Plus or minus $1.5 million.
$1.
What? That's
Really?
$1.
I didn't know there were NBA contracts that ended in one.
Well, it was like it was like one of them is like 8 and the other one's ends off at 9 or something like that.
Oh, that's so weird.
No,
That is
yeah,
really
I saw
weird.
that, and because I saw it on StatMuse, right? It was posted right after Paul George said, "Yeah, I'm number 2. This is Kawhi's team," and then StatMuse had to like point out, being like, "Hey, I mean, if we're looking at the budget wise,
I mean,
we're looking at per game."
that's a little nitpicky
right there.
StatMuse, I think. A little bit nitpicky.
Oh no, that's what StatMuse does, and that's what I love. It was one that had like a bunch of laugh emojis with it. I was just like, yeah, deep cut though with that one. So that was okay. Yeah, surprise fast break question of the week. That means we got extra buckets on that one. We got extra points.
Woo-hoo.
All right. So on that note, we had some fun today breaking down the cards. We got the fan cards, the takes, the new segments. Always fun getting to be together again. On that note, we will see you next week, hunks and honeys. Bye.
Bye.